Hey guys, Saf here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. So I haven't done a shard pull video on this channel for a little bit of a time. I think I did it when I pulled Akimtum, but really we were only going for the guaranteed video. And that's just as a result of me not really seeing the need to pull shards on my main account. My account is so stacked in terms of champions. I think I got like 200 rank 6 champions that really I'm in the market for very specific champions. So for the majority of the time, shards are not very valuable for me on this account at the moment. This is my main account, not my free-to-play. Obviously, on the free-to-play, we haven't got any champions practically, so any good champion pull is very interesting. I don't know why. It's Valentine's Day is still going on. Valentine's Day is a singular day, and it's not even, in my opinion, obviously, I'm not married, so perhaps that is the reason why it's not a massive holiday. But for Raid this year, they've gone absolutely berserk. Clearly, they feel like love is in the air. And we have got this unique 1.5 day couples times 10 summons. Now, some of these champions are actually some of the best couples in the game, if we're being honest. Even some of the best champions in the game. Sify Rotos has been a dominant arena duo for as long as the game has been out and they've been in this game. They are so oppressive. Even to this day, Rotos is still really good. The only champion that really kind of ruins Rotos' life is Ultimate Death Knight. Bellinor's just got buffed. He's now an AoE decreased defense and weaken, a bit like Venus. So he's a great champion on his own. His potential in Clan Boss was kind of reduced when they did that, but his overall AoE wave control now, especially when you compare him with Xayah, where you can activate this debuff spread, it has some interesting tuning capabilities now that he's an AoE decreased defense, although you're still not going to pair them that much together. It's a much weaker pairing, these two champions here, but the Sify Rotos is kind of what's attracted me a little bit to this summon rush. We also do have, in the next 36-hour window, another summons that we've got coming on here. We have a times 10 for Cisia and Cardiel. Now, Cardiel is probably, if not the best Void Legendary in the game, one of the best Void Legendaries in the game. You can slot him into any team and he will hard carry your team. He is such an amazing champion, mainly because he's got insane healing. He's got the best ally attack in the game. He's got Revive on Death that can't be removed. He's got a full cleanse. He's got block debuffs. He counterattack. Like, he's just got everything. Paired with Yumiko, arguably one of the better champions, if not one of the best champions in the game. That A2 with that Hex disables pretty much every game mechanic. You obviously have that A3 then, which increases the enemy's skill cooldowns whilst also resetting yours. She's an insane champion. Karato is probably the weakest champion out of all of these champions to get. He is the only one here that doesn't have some sort of S tier capability in that sense. Like, he's a good damage dealer, but he doesn't really need, like, the pairing for Karato and Yumiko. Yumiko is needed to make Karato relevant, whereas Karato doesn't need to make Yumiko relevant. And it's the same thing with Cisia Cardiel a little bit. They're S tier because they do things in specific areas of the game that no other champions can do. Cisia is one of the best Spider 25 farmers, if not the best. I know there's some other funky tunes with Tumacia and a bunch of other things, but generally if you pull a Cisia, she's S tier in that area. Cardiel is S tier universally, Yumiko S tier universally. Rotos and Sify as a pairing, specifically in Arena, is S tier. Bellinor is one of the better AoE decreased defense. You get crit aura, you get lots of things. And Xayah is a poison exploder, one of the best poison exploder. Karato's the weak link. Now, there is this weird little funky thing. I should probably mention it. I'm not enamored by it. I don't think it's that much of a big deal. I think it's a bit pointless. The chances of you getting both of these champions to get this reward is like 1 in 40,000 or 140,000 or whatever the odds were. We were talking about it in Discord. It's an insane amount of investment. You might as well forget this exists. And even if you do get it, it's a legendary book and a couple of energy. It's not the end of the world. It's not like, you know, whales are going to be given loads and loads of resources for whaling out here. This isn't going to like motivate people to pull more champions or not pull more champions. It's irrelevant. You have to pull both of the couples. So I'd have to pull both Rotos and Sify in this one weekend to get that one legendary book. It's just not worth it. So I mention it purely because it's in the news, but really, guys, don't lose your head over it. It's just one of those things. They've decided to try it. You know, I'm all for experimentation. Let's see what they get. So if you're like me and you are going for the fusion, you have no choice. You have to pull this event. So it's all about which event do I want to pull for. The rare is actually in a reasonable, okay position. 3,500 points, I think, is a fair amount for another rare. Although needing to get both rares and that not being an epic is a bit of a problem, considering that's where we were like 12 months ago, right? That would have been what an epic replacement would have been. So it's still a little bit too high, but hey, it's not 4,925, which is what the Pythian fusion was. We also get an Immortal Soulstone, which is kind of cool. Some anniversary tokens, which is, you know, we're getting towards the Kraken end of the event, that I like to call it. You know, the big rewards are all there. So it's good to pick up more of those. So I've already pulled a couple of Void Shards because I know I'm nowhere near my Mercy on Voids, and I don't really think we're going to get a guaranteed Void anytime soon. So in terms of the shards that I don't mind burning for this event, Voids are probably like the most burnable shards. I don't really want to pull any Ancients, and I kind of really don't want to pull Sacreds, but we're going to have to. So we need around about like 3,000... was it 2,500 points? So we can either do a hybrid pull where we basically pull 5 Sacred Shards and then a few Ancients, or we can pull a couple of Ancients and then maybe pull 4 Sacred Shards. We might even just pull the Void Shards. I think let's do that first. Let's see how many points we get with the Void Shards. I'm pulling today because I really would prefer... I've got Necrit now. I would prefer having a Rotos. Out of all of these champions, Cardiel or Rotos would be the one I'd want. I'm nowhere near Void Mercy, so the Void champ is not in consideration. I have Karato. I have Bellinor, I have Xavia. I don't have Sissia, but I already have 2 Amicia, so I'm not in desperate need. Rotos would be the most account-changing non-void from this set, so we're going to be pulling today for it. Let's get the fusion out of the way. Let's pull these 5 voids. Let's see what we get. Again, if I get one of the legendaries, awesome, but I'm expecting 5 rays. I know I'm nowhere near Mercy. I've just pulled Necrit the Great about 15 void shards ago, so, you know, pulling anything out of 5 voids here would be Locker's luck of Kraken level, right? Who pulled a Krisk on his free-to-play. That's what we would be talking about. But here, all we're doing is we're just farming Summon Rush points with these Void Shards. We're going to get 5 rares. It's pretty, like, expected. But hey, I can't complain. I got Necrit the Great recently. Oh, we do get an Epic, at least. Oh, we got a Man-Eater. Hey, if I could get that on my free-to-play, that would be an absolute dream. So how many points did that put us on? So we've got to... 1,500 out of 3,500. So we need to pull 4 Sacreds. So I'm going to just exclusively pull Sacreds. I want to keep my Ancients because I feel like the next guaranteed is more likely to be an Ancient guarantee than a Sacred or a Void. I'm trying to keep my pool of Ancients up. So 4 Sacreds for a Rotos. Let's go. We probably won't get it. I come into these events now and I expect not to get anything. That's the best way that I look at life. Fenax, top tier. Really think he's a great champion. Who else are we going to get? Another Epic. We're going to get Skuramis, one of the newer champions. Kind of interesting kit if you can enable his counterattack with this A1 chance to kind of steal turn meter and remove and stun and different things. I can see the concept. It's a champion I want to do some content around just to see if he actually is any good or not. What else are we going to get? Another Epic. Chancellor Yasmin. They fixed her AI now so she doesn't do lull enchant for absolutely no gain or purpose whatsoever. But she's a pretty decent heal. She's just not that good. That's not a Rotos. And finally, another Epic. You got to come into these things expecting disappointment. And that way you leave without any commiserations. We get a Marksman. If all they did was get rid of this extra turn on this A1, Marksman would be a top tier clan boss champion, right? You get a Phil AoE champion. He has an extra chance to crit here. He ignores a lot of defense, hits really hard on the clan boss in this ability. He also brings poison. This extra turn mechanic kills him in most speed tunes. When they buffed him recently, I was sitting there, was going, please just remove the extra turn. Just remove it. I don't want it. I know it's cool. I know it sounds great. Just get rid of it because that makes him a much more viable champion. Or give him an extra turn on this ability. Or something, like give him some more guarantees. Like this is just killing his ability to do anything. But as a clan boss champion, you get poisons, big hits, and a turn meter fill. If that extra turn wasn't there, he would be more viable in more speed tunes. That is enough, I think. I think we're just about there. That's perfect to get all of our Shadow Bow Turtleaxe. I'm not really going to go any further. Like, I don't really care for an XP barrel. This Kraken road. The Krakens can go enjoy their legendary books. We got absolutely nothing. We didn't even get one of the like the fusion epic. That would have been nice. You can see I've already finished my Aethel Path. I kind of ground out some spider. It's going to keep pinging me. I might as well pick up some rewards here like that so it stops pinging me. I don't really need these potions, but we might as well finish it off. Let's pull this Immortal Soulstone. We will get like a 300 batch there. I've now updated my wish list a little bit. Akimtum is in the wish list because he is an insane Void Epic. I'm finding more and more ways to use him. Necra is now a legendary option. What are we going to get? Is there going to be anything in this video? Ooh, it's gold. Oh, Okay, it's a 4-star Vizix. Right. I mean, we have a 50 Vizix. I don't really know kind of what I would use a 4-star Vizix for. Interesting. Let's just check out. Vizix is... On a free-to-play, Vizix would be insane for me right now because we would basically get ally protection, we get decreased speed, get provokes. It's actually quite a very good champion these days. For Doom Tower, I've seen Vizix used a lot in teams that can't kill things very quickly. Just because you just get an awful lot of turn meter control. There's a 100% chance to decrease the target's turn meter by 15%. That's Omega level. She also gets turn meter back. So that's actually like giving her Lissandra's A3 without the speed buff on an A1. Very good for herself. You get decreased speed AoE. Very good. You get provoke. Okay, it's a 3-turn. Still pretty good for Hydra, right? If you can pair it off well. She's kind of like a baby Krisk in that sense. So I wonder if a 4-star, like a 4-star blessing, what does that give us now that the blessings have been updated? What could we put on her? So if we were using her in PvE, we could give her Brimstone, but she would need accuracy. But she needs accuracy anyway for the provoke, right? So Brimstone on champions that are already debuff are not so bad. It's only a 30% chance, which is kind of disappointing because it's not 5 or 6-star, right? So we could put Polymorph. That would get it to 10% if we want to use her in Arena. That's an option. I think Life Harvest is an interesting option here. She gets 10%, destroys 20%, and then that'll keep going. So if anyone revives, you can put her in like a supportive role. The only problem is she doesn't revive. So in kind of like long-term fights in the arena, you kind of want someone like a Pythian, Uko, Duchess, Siphi, the champions that can kind of revive you if something goes wrong. She doesn't really bring that. Soul Reaper's interesting, but again, I don't think that's much value either here. We could do Temporal Chains, will slow enemies down. Ward of the Fallen is utterly broken and pointless. We could go for the Aura. She doesn't really give a good aura, though. Heavencast, if we didn't need the Provoke, could be interesting. But it's a keeper, right? It could be worse things. Like, it could have been a 4-star, any of these that I've got holding on to right now. So, yeah. There you go, guys. That's the reality of a times 10 there. You don't really get much. I really wanted to try and limit the amount of shards I used. I didn't want to burn anything as much for this because I knew it wouldn't be very valuable. But I needed to get the Shadowbow Turtleaxe for the fusion. We should be able to now make we got enough to make 1.5 more Marukas. I've already made 1 Maruka that I made in Champion Chase last weekend. I will see if I can wait. Now, if it's 1 day, 1 week, 1 day, we should have a Champion Chase next weekend. There's no clan versus clan that we can summon Oella in. So to be efficient, I will hold all my Shadowbow Turtleaxe and I will make 3 of these Marukas next weekend on the Friday. And then I will make the Legendary because that will give me 2, 5, 750 and then 500. So that's 1,250 Champion Chase points in the bag for next weekend. Even though we don't need it for the fusion, we might as well do it for the free rewards, right? Or times 2 ancients. So we might pull a few ancient shards a little bit. I'm trying to get to 150. Once I get to 150, all the shards are excess. We'll use them on top. And yeah, we might be able to get a Champion Chase pretty much done easily. I've also got these stored up and saved in case I need them. So we've got a lot of basically free chase points. We could probably do a complete Champion Chase without actually burning any shards. So that's the plan with the fusion. We're going to keep cracking on. I am doing the Champion Training event for the fusion, so we're trying to grind that out as well. We're nearly there. In my infinite wisdom, I thought it was a great idea to pick up this clan quest. Guys, never pick up this clan quest if you can get away with it, because it's actually a lot of burden. We're halfway through. I'll probably get it done, but it's a pain. There you go, guys. That is a basic summons video for this Friday. Have a nice weekend. I'll be back on Monday with another stream. I've got another Akhenaten video coming out very soon because we have found more discoveries about Akhenaten, about how to maximize his potential. I really think Akhenaten is a super OP champion that nobody's really thinking about. It's kind of like a guaranteed champion that's like, it's all right, it's an okay champion. Once I've drilled into the mechanics of his passive, I think he's actually a lot more broken than I once thought. But yeah, keep an eye out for that video. But yeah, have a nice weekend, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.